We're back on the Win Daily Show. MLB, DFS, prop bets, and bets. Got you covered with the trio. I'm Jason. This is Adam. Make sure you check us out at windailysports.com. Like, subscribe. Don't miss this show every single day of the week. We got you covered. Half an hour. We're in and out. We're giving you winning bets. We're going to give you our DFS plays. We've been hot. The free bets I've been posting on Twitter have been hitting as well. So make sure you check us out on Twitter at Win Daily Sports. Adam, let's get right into it, man. There is not too many aces on this slate, but give us your top ace or two that you like for Friday night's main slate.
Yeah, I mean, we do get a bigger slate. I don't think it's been very often. We've had 13 games, but unfortunately, I don't think the pitching roster is super deep. I think people might see Toronto on the other side of the Justin Verlander matchup and run, and I get it. I mean, it's still the Toronto Blue Jays. They still have some dangerous hitters. They're still in the top 10 of, every offensive category that really we value. But this is still Justin Verlander, who kind of looks like Justin Verlander so far. I mean, I know it's only 2 starts, but, he still has a 31.9% K rate. The swing strike rate's 12.6%. He looks like Justin Verlander that you've pretty much come to know. And let's face it, without Teoscar Hernandez and Danny Jansen, that Toronto lineup isn't quite as long as you would have expected coming into the season. Bo Bichette's only hitting 224 here. Yes, he's better than that. Yes, he's going to break out. But this is still probably going to be a righty-heavy lineup. Verlander's been very the right side of the plate so far. If Verlander's, on the lower end of rostership, I'm going to be really interested to kind of go against the grain on that one.
Yeah, look, Toronto has been quieter. You're missing some big bats. Verlander is the top, strikeout potential guy on the slate. We both also like Kyle Wright. I think Wright has the best of both worlds. He's looked good so far. He's got a great matchup in Miami. And his 2 starts, one against San Diego, who we have as one of the better lineups in the MLB right now. 9 Ks in the last start. He got his pitch count up to 92. That's another positive there. The guy's been clean, 1.64 ERA, 15 Ks through, basically 11 innings. So he's over a K per inning. Cincinnati, San Diego, probably better lineups than Miami. Pitching at home. Atlanta should get the win. They're going to be heavy favorites here too. So I think when you talk, point per dollar end matchup, kind of like him over Verlander. If there was somebody else to pair underneath, we might go that way and just make him the SB1, on DraftKings, roster him on FanDuel as well. But before we get to, our stacks, I'm going to throw out a couple names here, Adam. You tell me if there's any interest at all. The Mets keep winning. Do you like Peterson versus a weak-hitting Arizona lineup? The question that I got, is he stretched out enough?
That is a big, big question. I mean, he did get to 80 pitches last time. So yes, I tend to think he can get there as far as pitch count. I think the bigger question is, even against Arizona, can he strike out enough hitters to warrant a $9,000 price tag? That's a lot. Yep. And when you get up into that range, you have to have strikeout ability. It's not enough to just be facing a bad lineup, which he is. I'm not going to sit here and say otherwise. But if he got you that 14.8 points that he just got against the Diamondbacks lineup, you're not going to be real thrilled at 9K. You're going to be like, man, I probably could have spent my money a little bit better elsewhere and gotten some better production.
He's got to be super clean to get there. So I kind of agree with you. I just wanted to, put it out there. I think he gets the win if he goes 5 innings. I like the Mets a bunch. Another 2 names that I'm going to mention in the 8K range, you got Micah Kopech and then Brad Keller. These 2 guys, I think Keller is actually the safer of the 2 because he went 86 pitches in the last start, 7 innings, 6 innings in both starts, 1.39 ERA, 5 Ks in both starts. He is clean right now. And the matchup versus Seattle, I know they've hit from time to time. They're winning games. KC is not projected to win this game, but Vegas has this as a total of 7.5. So I do like Keller a bit. And talk about those two guys, Keller and Kopech, because I think they're going to grab some attention in that 8K range.
I think you're right, and I think those guys are probably going to be popular SP2s on DK because when you start getting down below them, it gets scary quick. And that's not to
Yep.
say Keller and Kopech are like the safest guys around. Brad Keller, at least for me personally, has a pretty bad history of every time I try and buy in on this guy, he goes out and he just gets absolutely mauled by like some crap offense. I think the main concerns here are 13 innings pitched, only 10 strikeouts. Again, it's all about price per dollar, and it's all about chasing that strikeout because DFS, if you're not striking hitters out, you better be really really cheap because it gets tougher to hit the value. And for Kopech, like he's moving from the bullpen to the rotation. That's a different animal. He's a fireballer and he has big strikeout ability out of the pen, but so far 9 innings, only 8 Ks. He's still kind of getting stretched out. He had, even for Major League Baseball, he had an abbreviated spring training. You saw the strikeouts jump from 3 to 5. So maybe, you start to see some of that strikeout ability kind of come back to him. But it's a much different ball game pitching every 5 days to pitching out of that bullpen and just being able to unload the tank for an inning and know you're going to be done. So it's something we need to keep an eye on as we go. I'll throw out Tariq Skubal because you got Colorado on the road after they've really spent most of the season so far in Coors Field. They haven't been on the road very much. The lineup has changed. They're still a dangerous offense against lefties. They still have CJ Cron. They still have Chris Bryant. I'm not really ready to quit Skubal yet. I think he has some good strikeout stuff. He's made some adjustments to his game. And, KC's not the best offense. We've talked about it a few times how they just haven't been hitting yet. But you look, man, he goes out and he gets 7 Ks, he gets 24 DK points, even without the win. I'm pretty willing to throw out any start against the White Sox versus a left-handed pitcher. Just it's not going to be a good matchup all year unless their lineup changes drastically. So I'm still looking at him in that 8K range as well.
Yeah, here's one thing I'll throw out too. This is not going to be my bet of the day, but I'm looking at some of the props. Some of the props are up already. Kind of shocked by this, man. And I'm not an under guy, but Freddie Peralta, his K prop is 6.5. I don't think he lasts. Is as shitty as the Phillies are. They're the most frustrating. The lineup looks nice on paper. They just don't really produce much. They just obliterated Coors Field and just did terrible out there until the last game. And Ranger Suarez is 5.5. Like I kind of want to go the under in both of those, but kind of shocked that their K props are that high. One name I'll mention, I don't even want you to talk about it because you might laugh when I mention the name here, but I hit on Archer, just expecting him to get like 12 to 14, and he went out there and did that. He almost went clean. He had that one rough inning at the end of the game where he lost a couple points. He almost got to 15, possibly 20. But Michael Wacha, Tampa Bay's hit or miss. They're playing at home. Tampa Bay is a pitcher's park. He went out there, got 19 against Minnesota. He got 12 against Detroit at 6,600. If there's bats that you fall in love with, he's the only guy in this like 5K, 6K range that I'll throw out there and have some confidence that he can go out there and get you 10, maybe 15. Tampa Bay doesn't really scare me on most nights. Their lineup is not the same as it was last year. So I don't mind Wacha, and I don't mind going under Freddie Peralta and Suarez at their K props. I don't think they hit that. Do you like those props? I'm not an under guy, but do you have any interest on under Freddie Peralta at 6.5?
Probably not. Just because he started off the season rough, but we've kind of seen, at least from Woodruff and Corbin Burns, I came against my Pirates and everyone can pitch well against them. But they've kind of got their season right a little bit, and I do wonder if the shortened spring training hurts these guys because a lot of these guys, they went for their season or career high in innings last year for the Brewers. With Peralta, even when he's been struggling, like he still struck out 6 opening day. This is still a guy that can easily go out and strike out 8, 9 guys, even if he's giving up runs here and there. I don't know. I probably could get talked into Suarez. I don't know if you could talk me into Peralta.
All right, we'll let that. I'm not an under guy anyway. So let's switch it up to stacks, man. There are some stacks that we do like, and the stack that I gravitate towards, you're gonna hear me talk about them a bunch. It didn't work out last time. I found a cheap stack for us, but I think this DraftKings, this pricing guy or girl or computer or bot is broken still. It just doesn't make sense that I can go out there and stack the Atlanta Braves at home against probably one of the worst pitchers on the slate in Rogers, who's, just struggled out the gate. Not to say that he's a bad pitcher, he's going to be a bad pitcher forever, but you got a guy struggling out the gate, and then you got d'Arnaud at 2,200, Swanson at 2,500, Duvall at 2,400. You can get guys like, Ozuna even at 3,000. This lineup is super, super cheap. It doesn't make sense here. So I kind of like Atlanta stack here. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially if you pair them with Kyle Wright there too. A little correlation. Your stack hits, your pitcher cruises. I like the Braves. Adam, can you get behind the Braves, and what other teams do you like?
Yeah, I can definitely get behind the Braves. I actually wouldn't be shocked if they're a fairly popular offense on this slate because, yeah, like what are we doing with the prices here? Adam Duvall's 2,400. Like I understand they're coming out of LA, so they face good pitching pretty much every day. But my God, what are we doing here? Like these prices are pretty absurd. You don't get Ozzy Albies at 4,600 very often, and like when you look at a slate like this, you when you say that, oh man, pitching looks kind of dicey under like 8,500. You're probably not spending below that. Your next step should always be, okay, well, what's a good offense that I can afford on the cheap? It's in a good spot. I mean, Atlanta's got the red ringing bell next to their name that, holy crap, we got to look at this team. I mean, Rogers had a really strong, like
d'Arnaud's not
Duvall.
even struggling. D'Arnaud's not like, I'm looking at his stats, like he's hitting 297. I figured like this guy, Duvall's struggling. Maybe you can get it, but like d'Arnaud, man, this dude is not struggling. He's going to be a starting catcher in the middle of the lineup somewhere against a bad lefty at home. I would say a hitter. I think, either me or you should not be on the show next week, and it should be somebody who's pricing from DraftKings. Should be answering questions because, like, the only reason why I don't want to play Atlanta tomorrow is because they're going to be super popular, and they might just get all this ownership because it's just like – they should be one of the most expensive lineups on the slate, and they're the cheapest. It makes no sense.
And the thing with Rogers is, he had a really strong season last year, but this year, like if you look at the average velocity, it looks fine because he starts off really well, and through his first couple starts, the velocity just goes down. And like anytime he starts, his first few fastballs look great, and then it just goes bad quick. And a guy like Rogers, he can't survive with a fastball not up to par. He just can't do it. He doesn't have the control enough to have diminished stuff. I mean, that's part of the reason his walk rate has spiked so high early on in the season as well. So, yeah, Braves are going to be popular, justifiably so. I'm looking at the Guardians. This team just continues to hit. I mean, they hit Dylan Cease a little bit today. I mean, I don't think they're as good as they've shown so far. But Jameson Taillon is an okay pitcher. They're in Yankee Stadium. You're going to get 9 innings out of them guaranteed. And they're certainly more expensive than Atlanta, but they do have some value, guys. Josh Naylor is only 2,600. He recently came back from injury. The top end can get a little bit pricey. Maybe you leave Franmil Reyes out, and you mix. That's where you mix in some of your cheaper Atlanta outfielders. But Taillon's not in the best spot here, and I'm definitely going to be looking at some of the Guardians hitters once again.
Yeah, they're all cheap. They don't really make sense. A lot of them are cheap. Not all cheap, but there's enough in that 2K, 3K range. You got to play Ramirez if you're gonna even think about.
I was just gonna say, like even Ramirez, like.
He's expensive, but there's guys around.
426.
There's guys around him that can make it work. Even if like you go with a Cleveland stack of 3, you don't have to go the full stack. Go 3 or 4 there, and don't go 5 on the Cleveland side. you can easily fit him because I don't think Verlander or Urias are a must play, and it's not like I'm going to line up to pitch Corey Kluber. So you could start off with Kyle Wright and then go down to one of the 8K guys and be totally fine. Any other stacks? I thought about the Rangers a bit. I don't know. In regards to the pitcher that they're facing here. Is it somebody that puts any fear in you? Adam Olaire. What do you know about this guy? Texas is not one of the best lineups. It's not a hitter's park. They've been quiet. But what do you know about this guy Olaire? I'm asking you, putting you on the spot here. Adam Olaire. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this guy's name right. I haven't seen him pitch myself yet. Where do you have this dude?
Yeah, I haven't done like the full deep dive yet. It's kind of on the list for the back half of the article. But listen, this is a rebuilding A's team. To use the word rebuilding politely, I don't think a 27-year-old righty who has basically no major league experience at this point is anything we have to about. He has literally 4 innings of experience so far. The xFIP's over 5. The walk-in K rate are both at 20%. Swing strike rate's okay at 10.7, but it's certainly not going to be anything that strikes any fear into you with some of these Texas hitters. Corey Seager at the top. Marcus Semien has to start hitting sooner or later. He's still too cheap. He's a better hitter than this. You're probably not going to get Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You might get some Oakland revenge in here too. So maybe Semien is the play here for Texas. Him and Seager.
I mean,
it's going to be a bullpen game. So I wouldn't load up on all the lefties thinking Olaire is going to be in there more than 2 or 3 innings. So I think it's going to be 2 or 3 innings of Olaire if he makes it that far. So lefties, righties, both in play for me. Seager's expensive. Semien's 4,100. He's affordable. So Texas. If it was in Texas, I'd feel better. In Oakland, not as much, but I still think it's a pretty strong play to go with some Texas bats, maybe even for one-offs.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And as far as Semien goes, I don't know about revenge. You should be pretty happy that he went to Toronto and then got the bag because he could be in the A's as a rebuild right now and just be playing in front of 2,000 people and be miserable with his life.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that live look at the stadium, man. I think I can count
the
amount of people in that stadium on my fingers. So yeah, definitely not a good look there. Gas cans, man. I wrote up Olaire. I think he's one of them. Rogers, I don't say he's a gas can, but he's just not in a good spot. But what is your official gas can of the night?
Yeah, I mean, the guys that we talked about are certainly in bad spots, and I'm going to point out Ross Stripling too. The guy has 4 strikeouts on the year. The Astros don't strike out in the first place. I mean, we talk about this all the time. If you can't possibly miss those bats, you're going to be in a bad way. You have some value guys here. Jeremy Pena, it's only 4,200. Towards the back of the lineup, McCormick, guys like that you can do the wraparound thing if you need that money to save. But Jordan Alvarez 5,600, that's pretty affordable. Tucker's 52. This is about reasonable and about where we should expect the Astros to be, through the season. I don't think they're any great savings like Atlanta is, but they're not overly expensive to where their normal rates are either.
Yeah, I think Houston hasn't really shown up yet, but there are some big bats you want. Alvarez, he's doing his thing. So, if you're going to play a Houston stack, Alvarez has to be in there. Tucker Brantley in good spots. And like you said, you have some value that you can get to in that infield, potentially in the outfield, depending on what the lineup is. Pena has been hitting the ball really well. 308. Feels probably doing better than Correa at this point. So Houston, I like it. I think they're a good stack too. We haven't spoke about them as far as a full stack goes, but I think they're definitely play at home. Alvarez should be a popular bat. Nobody ever likes playing Brantley and he just goes out there, hits doubles, gets on base. So I think an Alvarez, Tucker, Brantley spot would be a good spot. Stripling is going to struggle here. If Houston gets it going here, this could be a big game because they do have some big bats here. Even guys like Gurriel, Siri might be in there, Goodrum might be in there. Everybody but Maldonado is pretty much playable in this Houston stack. So Like that call
Yeah,
a lot, actually.
sure.
I might end up having more Houston than I thought about prior to doing the show with you. As far as the value bats, man, we hit it. It's glaring if you look at the Atlanta lineup on Friday night. There's going to be guys 2,200, 2,500, 2,400 in Darno, Swanson, and Duvall. So if you're building out your lineup and you don't like an Atlanta stack, either of those three guys, you plug them in at catcher, shortstop, or the outfield, and you just cleared up a ton of salary. One or two of them, they're in one of the best spots. Hitters Park should be hot. They're cheap. They got some. All three of them got power too for their position. Like Swanson does have some power for a shortstop. Darno has it for the catcher. Duvall obviously from the outfield. One other pricing mistake. This is not a must play by any means, but Mark Hanna back and he'll probably rather start tomorrow. They might switch things up because they're going against righty, but I think Kana still gets to start. He's only 2,400 on DraftKings as well. So like that algorithm is messed up. He's 2,400. Adam, who's your value guys of the slate?
Yeah, we already touched on Josh Naylor for the Guardians. I do like that. He's been hitting towards like that middle chunk of the lineup, around that 5-6 slot. Another guy that I'm going to throw out, really can open things up if you want to do just like a one-off, or if you want to do a little two-man or something like that. But Trey Mancini for the Orioles, they get Ty Detmer or Reed Detmer, sorry, from the Angels, and this guy has just not shown anything major league quality yet. I know he has a pedigree. I get all that. It hasn't followed him to this point. I'm not saying it, but Mancini's a guy who just crushed lefties last year. Woba over 370. He started off doing the same thing this year, over 400. You get the position flexibility with first base and outfield, so it's really easy to kind of play around with him. Only 2,700. He really makes, he can make for a really strong pivot off some of this Atlanta, what we presume is going to be chalkiness.
Yeah, so those are the value guys. Obviously, you hop in our Discord chat throughout the day on Friday, in the morning, afternoon, evening. We'll be in there when these lineups do officially come out. Make sure you hop on our expert chat. You can get the link in the show notes, or you get the link at windailysports.com. There's links to hop in our Discord and a bunch of spots on our website. If you want to sign up for free, use promo code radio at windailysports.com. Gets you a week of our optimizer projection models for all sports. You'll get access to everything for all sports, DFS, some betting, some props, all that kind of good stuff. Hop in that expert chat as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. But Adam, before we get out of here, we're each going to give you a bet of the day. We've been hot with these bets. My first bet are the New York Mets, not because I'm a homer. It's a nice line, man. They've been winning against quality teams. They've been winning a lot of games. This team is playing hot. They're coming back. They're getting big leads. They're pitching, run differential. They're hitting. Lindor is actually waking up. They're only minus 126 on FanDuel to win the game. I kind of like the first five too, but I feel safer just playing them for the game just in case. Gallen has actually been pretty good, but I think overall the Mets will figure out a way to win. I don't like the fact that they're leaving New York on a Thursday and arriving in Arizona on a Friday, so they might be a bit tired. But I do like them for the game still at minus 126. And Adam, I'll give you the opportunity to talk about the next play. And I already bet it. I saw it. You put it in our notes. But talk about your favorite K props for Friday night.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going back to the well with Julio Urias because I'm not going to play him for DFS at 10K. Not he, because he was in control, but Dave Roberts bit us hard last time. Got pulled at 5 pitches through 5 innings. I could not believe it. I know the Dodgers are that kind of a team, but my God, man. Like Urias had given up a walk and then a hit at that point. Full control. He's running on 5. Now it bumps it down to 4.5, and it won't last a +1. It's gonna move. It's gonna move in a hurry. So if you can get to the +100, highly suggest it. The Padres, they're a dangerous team against lefties, but they still do strike out. Without Tatis, that lineup's, still a little bit short of the power and everything else. Striking out over 24% of the time. Give me plus money. He should get up to at least 70 pitches this time around, I would assume. Dave Roberts isn't a chucklehead, so that'll give me enough to get 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, I like that one,
And
man. I
then
already locked it in. I locked that in. When I saw you put it in the show notes, I'm like, this does not make sense. Like, you're basically betting against Dave Roberts at this point, because if he just gets
which isn't
any
fun,
bit
but
of a leash, any bit of a leash, 80 pitches, he should get up to 6 or 7. 4.5 is a joke, especially at plus money. Like, they have juice on the under. They should
right.
just put a picture of Dave Roberts' face here. That's what you're betting against, and I think he's going to have the leash there. Outside of Machado, we're good. And you got one more prop for us, right?
Yeah, Kyle Wright, plus 5.5, or excuse me, over 5.5 strikeouts, plus 120. You don't get a lot of strikeout props at that kind of juice. You know, we've talked about his improvements this year. Yes, it's only 2 starts. Yes, he's had a bad career up to this point. It's also the Marlins. He struck out 6 in the first game on 76 pitches. Like you said, got up to 92 this past game, struck out 9 Padres. Padres still have a better lineup than the Marlins, even though the Marlins have hit a little bit better than everyone expected early. I'm buying into what Kyle Wright has put onto paper so far. All the metrics make sense. Everything makes sense as far as swing and miss, K rate over 33%. Give me plus 120. If you give me that on any strikeout prop with somebody that has some ability, I'm probably going to fall for it, whether I should or not.
No, I like that, man. Miami is not a lineup that we're going to be fearful of. Plus, if we're right, we're actually going to be right twice, because we're probably going to have them in our DFS lineups. We are out of here. Everybody have a great weekend. A lot more content to come. Make sure you check out our SiriusXM show, 9 to 11 Saturday night and 9 to 11 Eastern on Sunday night as well. If you have any questions, you can always call us up on the show. Hit us up on Twitter at WinDailySports. But make sure you hop on our expert chat, man, for free. WinDailySports.com/radio gets you a free week, all of our content. Hop in that expert chat. Talk to Adam. Talk to myself. Ask us questions about DFS, props, betting, all that kind of good stuff. And we have you covered. We are going to have a great weekend. Be profitable. Make some money. Watch some NBA games, MLB, some PGA. You know, Adam might be watching some wrestling in between all that too. So everybody have a good weekend. We are out of here.